Hey everyone, welcome back to the garage. Today I'm going to be installing a Jack Spania Racing B D-Series style shifter into my purple Civic here. Got the shifter right here. It is the Jack Spania Racing. It's the non-lockout style. So normally they have like a cable here that has a lockout that you can pull up on this lever this one doesn't pull up. But it locks out fifth and reverse, so you can't go from like second to reverse if you're trying to shift fast. But I don't really drag race this car very much, and single cam transmission, try not to bang gears too often in it because they explode. But the only reason I got this one is I didn't want to have to deal with having to pull this up to put it into fifth and reverse for driving. But they do sell this kit with the lockout, and it also comes with a cover for the shift boot here, because the other shifter there is pretty thick right here and this boot doesn't fit over it. So what they do is they have a kit that when you buy the lockout one, it can come with the cover for this, where you take this cover off and it's basically like a piece of plastic, and it has an opening around the shifter, which is cool and all. It looks nice, but I don't like the fact that I could drop something down in there and I can't get it, and that there's a boot under this boot that protects the water and rain from getting in, which I'm going to hopefully try and utilize. And I also plan on trying to utilize the stock boot, which might be a little tricky, but I have an idea of how to do it. But I'm going to start with taking all of this off, and then I'll probably disconnect the rod from underneath, because you get rid of one of the stabilizer bars with the shifter. And I'm plan on, instead of just bolting it in, I think I'm going to weld the nuts to the body so I can bolt it and unbolt it from the top here. But let's start with taking all this off, and I'll get the car jacked up, and we'll get these, because there's two bars here, we'll get one of the stabilizer bars off that we don't need anymore and start to install the shifter. Okay, we're under the car here. There's not much room, otherwise I'd get you a better view, but you gotta pull this bolt out, which might suck because I might have to take this off. To get that, I have a Dyno Dynamics shift up here, shift pushing bracket, whatever the hell you want to call it, to give the shifter better side-to-side play, or doesn't give it side-to-side play. But I'm going to take this bolt out, take this rod out, and then see if I don't have any light, but let's see if I can crawl under there real quick. And we need to take off this bolt here, and then these two bolts, and this bar here will stay, and then this bar that's attached to here, and then the one bolt up front we're going to take off is going to take the whole shifter off. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll show you, because I don't got much room under here. Well, I got the shifter out with the back stabilizer bracket and stabilizer bar and shifter itself. I ended up cutting the bolt to pull this out because it basically came out like an inch and then hit the other shifters, so I just lopped the head off to make my life easier. But Now we just need to assemble this. You basically have this base plate, and the base plate attaches to down here. And I'm pretty sure the base plate goes like this. So if the shifter was in the car, it goes like that. So I'm going to set you up and we'll bolt this up right now. Because it gives you the hardware right in here. And I think you use the small Allens right there. So let's. Ooh. She comes out of there like fucking water. Okay, there you go. Alright, now let's go mock this up in the car. Alright, so that last clip of me putting the base plate on, it was actually backwards. You want the base plate with the gap in the front, because when you go to put the shifter in, if it's the other way, the shifter is about up here and it's not centered, and you will hit the dashboard. But with it flipped around with this in the front, you can pull it all the way back to the circle there, and it allows the shifter to be in the center when you get it right. It's hard to do with one hand, but I basically got it centered, pushed it all the way back there. Can't really go side to side with it. So once you get it all the way jammed back, and then I marked the holes. Sorry, having a hard time holding this right now. But I basically marked the holes, and I'm going to drill these holes out, and I was going to riv nut them and weld the riv nuts in, but I only have 2 of the riv nuts of the right size, so I think I'm going to drill the holes, put bolts in there, and then weld them from the bottom, and then install the shifter, and then we can get to connecting the bottom piece here. But I think possibly before we do that, I might take this apart to try and slip the boot over. Double check to make sure the holes line up. Gonna put some bolts in just to make sure, because it would suck to weld these nuts on in the wrong spot. I also upgraded the length of the bolts that I had. The bolts they give you are about half this length, and I just wanted something with a little more bite on it. And I also wanted something with a shouldered bolt, because it's just much better. Okay, and now I think I'm going to take this off, because I need to do it anyways to try and slip this boot over, but I'm going to take this off to stick my hand under there to put the nuts in. This looks like it has 2 washers in between the shifter on either side as like a bushing. Oops. Okay. So you got the 2 little washers, and then the shifter actually has a bearing right there, which is pretty freaking nice. Okay, but now hopefully I can, this may not work. That'll work for the front ones. Yeah, that wasn't that great of an idea, but anyways, I'm gonna go down there and put these nuts on, and then we'll start tacking them up, and then we'll get to the shifter portion. So I am going to riv nut these back 2, because underneath here there is a second plate for this hump that bolts into the tunnel there, and it makes the nuts be uneven, and I could try and do something to make it even, but to make my life easier, I'm just going to drill these holes out a little more, and put a riv nut, and then weld the top of the riv nut, and then these holes I'll weld from the bottom, because there's no extra uneven metal there, and it's easy to get the welder in there. I also grinded the paint underneath here to weld them. Shit. Almost had a little fire there. And this tunnel fucking metals, she's thin, but we got her welded. Now I'm just gonna grind it flat. So I grinded them flat. Gonna put a little spray paint on it, but I wanted to show you, in case nobody knows, you can get this stuff at Home Depot. It's about $2 a can. It's probably the cheapest spray paint I've ever seen, and it's the fastest drying spray paint I've ever used. They sell it in flat black, gloss black, and also I think a gloss white. But just wanted to show you this stuff. You can get yourself a Home Depot, $2 a can. So the base is all in there. I welded the riv nuts and welded nuts in the bottom, and it's in there. One thing I wanted to mention is, if you're ever welding on the chassis of the car, you really should disconnect the battery and disconnect your ECU, just so you don't blow it fry the ECU accidentally. Geez, a little tongue twister there. But next I'm going to, before we attach the shifter back up, I'm going to try and utilize this shift boot here. So mine, as you can see, is kind of already beat up. Has a hole in it, and show you And the plastic pieces are already broken, so it's really no sacrifice to try this, because it's already junk. But let me set you up and we'll try something here. Fuck it, I'll just hold it. So what I'm gonna do is there's this little rubber piece here. I'm gonna pop this off and then try and pull the plastic piece off, and then I might try and reuse this rubber piece to keep it tight around the shifter there. Thought it might have been glued, but I don't even think it's glued. This is falling apart in my hands. Nope, yeah, no glue. So this might work. So my plan is to take this Allen out here, and this piece slides out. I guess you can set this to a different level if you wanted. Probably changes the throw of the shifter there. Okay, let's see if this fits. It does, okay. Oop, there you go. Tipped you over. Okay. Slide the rubber piece over that. The only difficult part about all this is going to be connecting it all back to the shifter with the center console on it, but I think the struggle is going to be worth it. Okay, now we got that on. This just acts like normal shifter again. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, so now I'm going to put this back on and then hook the shifter back up to the base, and then we can go to the bottom of the car and hook the actual piece up. I would recommend Loctiting this little set screw, and probably this screw too, or bolt, whatever, all the same. Okay, now I don't remember which way the set screw was, if it was in front or back, but I'm gonna put it in the back, just in case for any interference reasons. This is where it's gonna get a little tricky. So when you put this back together, don't forget that there's two little washers on either side of this. Got it. I just had to use a pick or something to fish the washer on the other side. Okay, let's give you quick preview of what it's going to look like. Quick little preview. I don't think I'm going to run this shift knob, even though it looks cool. I have a weighted skunk too, so probably going to end up putting this on there. The thread pitch is the same. The only thing is it threads down like a tiny bit. So I might have to put a small little washer underneath to get it so the numbers are straight. But I'm going to go underneath and connect. I'm going to go underneath and connect the bottom down there. It's literally just a bolt and a nut with a lock washer, a nylon nut. So I'm just going to put that on there. I don't think you guys need to see that, understand. But basically, I could probably show you that piece right there connects to, right there. This piece connects to that piece with the bolt and the washers and stuff. So I'm just going to go down there and tighten it, and then we'll come back up here and button this all up. So I wanted to show you before I button this up. I got it bolted up, but this is the boot that originally was on the shifter. I just cut it and slapped it on there to try and give myself a little bit of more protection from some water around there, but I'm going to button this all up now, and then we'll give you a quick look of what it looks like and feels like. Well, she's fully installed. With the stock shift boot and everything, it feels really good. It's got a little bit of play, but that's just due to the transmission side, there's a little play in there, but it feels really good. It's really notchy. And I put my Skunk 2 shift knob on there, but it's much shorter. It's shorter than this one, so like when you go to grab it, you're kind of like grabbing onto this, and I don't know, I kind of like the feel of this with the shifter. Puts it up a little higher. You don't really need the weight of this, because you're not down here. You have all this leverage to pull on it. So it really don't need this. Like, it's literally no difference of the pulling back, like as to where on the shorter shifter, when you're down here and you have the weight, it really helps you put it into the gears much easier. But yeah, it's fully installed. I think it looks pretty good. It feels good. Hey, sorry, the last clip there got cut off. It's actually a couple days later, and I realized that I didn't have an ending for this. But I ended up filming a quick, probably like 10-second clip of me shifting through the gears just regularly, because my car's not fully tuned on the link yet, so I can't really do full RPM rips in it to show you like what it's shifting. But it shifts really good. It drives really good. It's probably one of the best shifters I've felt. But if you like what you're seeing in this video, hit the like button. And if you want to see what's going to happen next, which is going to be a Jack Spania Racing shifter in this car right here, I have the Billet Accord TSX style shifter that I'm going to be mounting underneath the car so I can try and keep the center console stock with the stock shift boot. So if you want to check an eye out on that and see what's going on, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.